5 minutes before we start our week 2 of the beginner series. Um, Weather didn't cooperate again today, so we are doing this class a little earlier than normal and teaching it inside, and then I'm going to teach the in-person class afterwards for those of you that are local. Just before we start, we have about 5 minutes before we start. So as you prepare for class, just grab a comfortable seated position. If you have a blanket or towel, I'm sitting on a rolled up blanket. If sitting cross-legged is very uncomfortable for you, if your knees are up here and you feel like you want to fall backwards, just grab something to sit on, like a firm pillow, a rolled up blanket or towel. It'll help elevate your hips and make this position a little more comfortable. And the goal when you're in a seated position is to keep the torso extended directly on top of the pelvic floor. Pull those shoulders back and the crown of your head up towards the sky. The big thing is we want to make sure we have expansion in the lungs. So if we sit up nice and tall, we'll have the ability to take nice deep breaths. Extend the spine, crown of the head's up towards the sky. And we have a few minutes before we start, so you can just focus on your breath now while you're in this position. Up nice and tall. Hands can be on your knees. You can have them palm up or palm down. And this is a great time to focus on your breath. Just inhale deeply and exhale completely. Trying to slow that breath down to maybe 7-8 seconds per inhale, 6, 7, or 8 seconds for the exhale. Just take some nice deep inhales, exhaling completely. And if you just joined us, if you want to get a blanket or towel to sit on, it'll help elevate your hips, or a firm pillow. Once again, this week 2 beginner class will be posted on the page afterwards, so you can view it as often as you like. And even if you're somebody that's practiced yoga for a while, these classes are great just to get back to the basics, check in with your form. There'll be a lot more instruction in this class, and we'll go much slower than in one of our other classes. But it's a great opportunity to just be present. It's not always about in yoga moving and doing all these intricate asanas or poses. It's really about being present and just dedicating some time to yourself and just being by yourself and making you a focus in your life for a little while. So we have a few minutes before we start. Just continue to breathe deeply. Remember, this is your class. So if something doesn't feel right, or due to an injury or other problems you might have, you can't do something we do today, it's okay. Don't do it. Ready to start, so you can just bring your hands to heart center. Anjali Mudra, hands are prayer hands, thumbs on sternum, and a light bow to your head. You can close your eyes or keep them at half mast. just take a moment to give yourself some gratitude for coming to your mat today. Congratulate yourself for making your health and well-being a priority. And just setting this time apart for yourself. When you're ready, you can rub your hands together and build up some friction in the palms. And when the hands get nice and warm, you can just place them on your heart center and let that heat go from your palms into your chest. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open and remove your hands from your chest. And just take a moment to check in with your body before we start. Nice deep breaths. You can blink your eyes. Come to a comfortable standing position. Up nice and tall, shoulders back, feet about shoulder width apart. Lift those shoulders up near your ears and roll them down your back, pulling the shoulder blades together. And with an exhale, lower your chin to chest. Just let your head hang there. There's no pressure on the neck. Inhale, raise your gaze up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, raise that gaze up. Exhale, chin to chest, and keep your chin down by your chest. Now with an inhale, we're going to roll our left ear towards our left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest, and inhale, right ear, right shoulder. So just making a half circle motion with your head from the shoulders, chin to chest, always inhaling towards the shoulders and exhaling towards chest. And after you go right and come back chin to chest, you can stay there. And now with an inhale, we're going to do a big circle going to the left all the way around 2 times, and then all the way around 2 times the other way. Making sure you don't pinch your neck in the back. When you're done, you can come back chin to chest and we'll all meet there. With an inhale, bring your head up to a nice neutral position. With an exhale, we're going to look over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, look over the left shoulder. Inhale, back to center. And one more time through. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left. Inhale, back to center. With an inhale, we're going to bring our arms way up overhead and really reach for the sky. Think of elongating your spine and really reaching those arms up as high as you can get them. Just make sure when you're doing this, you're not sticking your chest forward and your buttocks back or your glutes back. We want to be stacked over the pelvic floor. And with an exhale, turn your palms out and bring your arms down by your side. And just do these at your own pace, matching your breath to your movement, but make the movement intentional. the muscles in your arms, almost like you're holding a 1 pound weight or pushing your arms through the ocean or a pool of water. Matching that breath to the movement. And if it helps, you can always count as you make these movements. And next time your arms are up overhead, you can leave them there. Once again, really reach up for the sky. We're going to interlock our hands to elbows and frame your head inside the arms. And with an exhale, just lean the torso a little bit right, making sure the shoulders are pushed up against an imaginary wall. We don't want this left shoulder coming forward. So we're elongating the left side of the body. When you find a spot where your torso stopped and you're comfortable there, maybe slide the hips out to the left and you can go a little further. Inhale, come back up to center. And we're going to do the other side. So lean left, shoulders are flat against an imaginary wall, and then send those hips out to the right, elongating that right side. Inhale, back up to center and extend the arms way up overhead. And with an exhale, turn the palms out and bring your arms down by your side. Now with an inhale, we're going to open the arms out to the side. And try to keep the arms straight from the shoulders. We don't want them down or up. They're engaged, so my fingers are strong. I'm using my triceps. And with an exhale, give yourself a big hug. And pay attention to which arm is on top and which is on bottom. And alternate that. So once again, your breath to your movement. Exhaling, hug. Inhaling, open. Next time your arms are open, you can leave them there. We're going to flip our palms up to the sky. And inhale, bring your fingertips to your shoulders. Exhale, extend. Once again, matching your breath to your movement. Next time your fingertips are on your shoulders, you can leave them there and make real big circles with the elbows, waking the shoulders up. And you can change directions. Come to stillness. And while keeping the fingers on the shoulders, exhale, touch your elbows. Inhale, open. Exhale, touch the elbows. Inhale, open, and do this at your own pace. Next time your elbows are touching, you can stay there. Extend the arms and turn your palms so they're facing down to the ground. Make a real tight fist and release. Really engage those fingers, wake up the forearms and hands. Next time you have a fist, you can leave it balled up. And without moving the arms, just make some circles with the wrists. And change directions. You can come to stillness, open the hands, and with an exhale, point your fingers towards ground. Inhale, fingers towards sky. You can come to a nice neutral hand position. We're going to bend the elbows and have the hands at chest height, and just gently twist from side to side. And you can lift the right heel when you twist left and vice versa. You can come to to stillness and release the arms. And we're going to do that same motion. This time let your arms be loose and free. So we're just going to twist. Let the arms come around. It's a very gentle movement. And you can come to stillness. Place your hands on your hips. And imagine there's 4 bells hanging around you, and we're just going to ring those with our hips. And you can exaggerate the movements a little bit. Being careful when you ring that front bell that you protect your lower spine. If you feel comfortable with this, you can do it at a faster pace or more of a circular motion. Still ringing all the bells, but a little more fluid, and change directions. Stillness. Place your hands on your knees, and you might want to move your feet to hip width apart for this one. Put a bend in the knees and place your hands just above them. And we're going to make some circles with the legs. And change directions. Come to stillness. And for our ankle, you can leave the toes on the ground like this and make circles with the ankle, or if you'd like to lift it up. And without moving the leg, we're just going to make circles with the ankle. Change directions. We're going to switch feet. Remember, we're trying not to move the leg. And change directions. Come to stillness, and just take a Tadasana or mountain pose up nice and tall, shoulders back, palms forward, crown of the head up to the sky, and just breathe. Check in with your body. See how you feel after waking everything up. Open. We're going to do some forward folds. Before we want to do, a lot of times when we first start yoga, 2 things in that warm-up that people have a hard time with is, or 3 things. When we do a lot of that arm movement, your shoulders might start to hurt a little. Just take a break and come back to it at the next asana or movement that we're doing. It's just a matter of you're asking your arms to do things they might not be comfortable doing in the shoulder, so it might take some time to build up the strength and endurance. The other 2 is when your wrist is, we're making circles with the wrist. It's a movement we can all do, it's just we don't do it. So in the beginning, if you're having a hard time and the whole arm's moving, it's just a matter of practicing a little. One trick is always to hold the arm and just make those circles. And the more you do it, it'll take a few times and then your body will get it. And same thing with the one with your foot circling the ankle. A lot of times our leg wants to do this, and that's just because we don't make that movement with our ankle in the normal life, so we start to lose the ability to do it. One great way to, if you want to do better with it and you're having a hard time with it, just when you're sitting down, lift one foot and just practice. And if you practice a few times, it'll be very natural to you after just a few attempts. So just take a moment. We're going to work on a few forward folds here. So big inhale, arms come way up overhead. And with an exhale, turn those palms out and swan dive forward with a flat back. You can bend your knees. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Bend those knees as much as you like, because it's really about bringing the chest towards the thighs or knees and the crown of the head down towards the ground. We're not trying to put a lot of pressure on our hamstrings or calves here. This is about loosening up the spine and elongating the spine. Just hang here for a moment. With an inhale, interlock your hands to elbows
And just bring some gentle movement to the spine. You can come to stillness and exhale, release those arms down to the ground. Put a micro bend in your knees if you don't have it, and with an inhale, reverse swan dive up, arms way up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms way up overhead, and exhale, release the arms. And we're going to do one more of those and add a halfway lift. So big inhale up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Once again, you can bend those knees. With our next inhale, we are going to straighten our knees here. Place your hands on your thighs and come up to a nice flat back. Pull your shoulder blades together. You can lift your gaze just a little if you'd like. I'll turn sideways. Nice flat back. The hips are going back. Neck and head forward. Shoulder blades are together. Engage your abdomen. Don't let your belly just hang there. You don't want to completely flex it, but you want to engage it. And then maybe lift your kneecaps by tightening your thighs. Nice deep breaths here. And when we are forward folding and going back up, reverse swan diving overhead, and I say with a flat back, this is the motion you want to come through. So as you're coming up, you want to be in this position and continue going up. Or when you're coming down, in this position and continue going down. So with an exhale, bring your hands down towards the ground. Put a micro bend in those knees. And with an inhale, bring the arms way up overhead. Nice flat back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, release the arms. And just check in with your body, see how you feel. Blink your eyes open. Real quick, when we're in that forward fold, a lot of times we just don't want to bend our knees because we have that mentality, almost like when we were in PE class or gym class when we were young. We always felt like, oh, we're reaching for our foot if we're trying to stretch, and we're pulling it and we're fighting it and forcing it. Yoga's the opposite. It's really about relaxing. And as you're in this forward fold, if I'm here and I'm really struggling to pull down, my muscles are fighting me. Whereas if you just lighten the load a little, bend the knees, bring the chest towards the knees, hang there, and then it's all about letting go. And what's really cool is you decide to let go and relax those muscles, they start to let go and relax more. And then the cool part is, it also turns into mental things also, where you start to realize, man, I'm always swimming against the current or fighting different things. Well, you start to get in the habit of letting stuff go and relaxing, and it can affect you in so many other ways besides just on the mat. So we're going to do that same sequence, and we're going to go back to down dog though, so we're going to add a down dog to it. And remember, the down dog is an inverted V. So we want our hands and feet and our hips nice and high, and we're going to be pushing our chest towards our thighs or knees. So up nice and tall. Inhale the arms way up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. We'll stay here for a few breaths. The hips are going back, neck and head forward. Nice flat back. And when we're ready with an exhale, we're going to bend our knees, plant our hands, and step back to a down dog. And before we go any further, just come down to your hands and knees. I want to make sure we have the right shoulder position. So place your forearms and your palms down on the mat, right in front of you. You're still on your knees. Now we're going to push right back to down dog. So all you have to do is roll your toes and inhale, push. You might have to move your feet a little. It's okay. And just pedal your feet. but we don't want to have the wrong arm position because then we can hurt our shoulders, and that's a pretty delicate joint. Just pedal the feet, bringing some movement. If your heels don't touch the mat, it's okay. Just go to wherever you can go. Maybe come up real high on your tiptoes and send the hips real high. Exhale, sink those heels down to the mat. One more time. Inhale up nice and high. Exhale, sink those heels to the mat. And like I said, if your heels don't reach the mat, it's okay. The important thing is we're not in a plank here. The hips are high. We're in an inverted V. Nice deep breaths. Keep the legs straight if you can. If you can't, you can bend the knees. And when you're ready with an exhale, come down to your hands and knees. And we don't want to be like hands and knees when we did cat-cow last week. We want to be forward, so be on the tops of your feet. And you want a straight line. So this is a modified plank. A straight line from the back of your knees, up the back of your thighs, over your glutes, up your back, into the back of your head. Wrist, elbows, and shoulders are in line. And what's really important here is the whole body touches at the same time when we come down. So with an exhale, lower down and lay flat on the mat. And with an inhale, just bring up the head and chest for cobra. Relax your glutes, push your feet into the mat. And you're not holding your body up with your hands. And to make sure, just lift your hands up off the mat. We're using our core to hold us here. Nice deep breaths. Never hold your breath in yoga. With an exhale, lower your head and chest down. And with your next inhale, we're going to push back to down dog. So inhale up. You can do hands and knees first, and then come back to down dog. Look between your hands and just walk or step to a forward fold. Micro bend the knees and big inhale up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, release the arms. And that's a variation of a sun salutation. We're going to do 2 more of those. But one thing I want to show you, I'm going to go back to the plank, and this is super, super important. When we come down, we have to keep our body strong, so engage your core. The elbows want to be next to the body, and we come down so everything touches at the same time. The one thing we cannot do here is the worm, where our hips hit, our chest hits, and our forehead comes down. So you really have to kind of focus and work on that strength. And if you can't get it right away, it's okay, but no, that's the goal we're going for, is everything coming down at the same time, so you protect your lower back and don't hurt yourself. So we're going to go through 2 more of those, up nice and tall. Big inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice deep breaths. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, and step back to down dog. When you're ready, exhale, come down to your hands and knees, and make sure you're leaning forward. Wrist, elbow, shoulders in line. Exhale, everything comes down. Inhale, head and chest up for cobra. No pressure on the hands. They're free. We just have them here as a guide. Exhale, lower the head and chest. Inhale, push back to down dog. Look between the hands and walk or step to a forward fold. Micro bend the knees and big inhale up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, release the arms. And one more time through. Big inhale up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step back to down dog. Come down to your hands and knees. Exhale down under control. Inhale up for cobra. Exhale the head and chest down. Roll the toes and inhale back to down dog. Look between the hands and walk or step to a forward fold. Micro bend the knees and big inhale up. Exhale heart center. Inhale the arms up and exhale release the arms. And just take a quick Tadasana. If you feel warmer or your heart's racing a little, sun salutations are great for that. Nice deep breaths. Pulling those shoulders back. You can blink your eyes open. And just check in with your body. See how you feel. Did anything feel very uncomfortable? Then maybe we need to deal with that. So just send us a message and we can give you some modifications. We're going to go back to down dog again and then come to our hands and knees. So up nice and tall. Big inhale, the arms way up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward with that flat back. Just stay here for a few breaths. Feel the difference between this one and the first one as your spine relaxes, starts moving. With your next inhale, we're going to do a halfway lift, so straighten those legs, arms on or hands on thighs and grasshopper arms where they're coming up close to your body and behind your back. Nice flat back. And with an exhale, we're going to forward fold, plant the hands and step back to down dog. Feel the difference between this one and the first one. And when you're ready with an exhale, you can come down to your hands and knees. What's important here is the top of your feet are on the mat. Your knees and hips are in line. Your wrist, elbows, and shoulders are in line. And your back is nice and flat. And you want to make sure your legs are coming straight down from the hips. We don't want them out to the sides or in. It's a very natural position. And we're going to do some cat-cow. So with an inhale, we'll do a cow. So we drop our belly, send our hips and head up like a cow mooing. Exhale, cat. Arch the back. Roll the pelvis in and chin the chest. Inhale, cow, and just do these at your own pace. After your next cat, you can come to a nice neutral spine. So we're going to be up on our hands and knees here, and with an inhale, we're going to send our right leg straight back. And you want it to be as close to level with your back as you can get it, not up higher or lower, just straight back, and foot is flexed. And if you're comfortable there, maybe you can extend that left arm, thumb the ceiling. Hold this position. It's a bit of a balance pose. Engage your belly. Don't let it be passive. And when you're ready, you can place that left hand and right knee down. And maybe roll out the right wrist and give it a little break. And we're going to do the other side now. So with an inhale, send that left leg straight back. And if you're comfortable there, extend that right arm. Thumb the ceiling. It's a bit of a balance pose. Nice deep breaths.
When you're ready, you can place that right hand and left knee down. And we're going to come up high on our knees, up nice and tall, and send the right foot out to the side. And you want that right foot parallel with the end of the mat and the whole sole of the foot on the mat. So you'll inhale the arms up overhead and exhale, fold over this right leg. And we want to make sure our shoulders are pushed up against an imaginary wall. We don't want this left shoulder coming forward. We're trying to elongate our left side. No pressure on the right leg. That arm's just there as a guide. Nice deep breaths here. Never hold your breath in yoga. Inhale, both arms up overhead. And exhale, bring the left hand down the mat and right arm overhead. And there should be a straight line from the right foot to the right fingertips. All the way over. We don't want the arm up here. We want it reaching, going past our head, and shoulders are pushed up against an imaginary wall. If you want to engage your core, maybe lift that left hand up off the mat and breathe. Nice deep breaths here. And when you're ready with an inhale, come all the way back up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. And we're going to switch legs. Sometimes in this position you might get a little cramp or a feeling in the hip here on the extended leg. If you do, just pull it in, shake it out, and try to go back to it. And if you can't, that's okay. Just, it's not working for you today, but eventually we'll get there. So left leg's out to the side, sole of that foot's on the mat. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, fold over that arm, over that leg, I'm sorry. Once again, elongating that right side. No pressure on this left leg, the hand's just there. Shoulders are flat against an imaginary wall, and breathe. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, bring that right hand down the mat and left arm way up overhead. Shoulders are flat against an imaginary wall again. If you want to use your core, lift that right hand up off the mat. Breathe. Nice deep breaths. Engage the core. And with an inhale, come all the way back up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. And bring that left leg in. And we're going to come back to our hands and knees. And while keeping our hips where they are, so we want the hips nice and high here, just elongate the arms and bring your forehead down to the mat. So keep your hips high, forehead's on the mat, arms are reaching out in front of you for puppy pose. If you feel comfortable here, maybe you can put your chin on the mat. Make sure you don't pinch your neck. And you might feel that change to the middle of your back by your shoulder blades. Nice deep breaths. And with an inhale, push back up to hands and knees. We're going to take a quick child's pose. So put your knees about mat width apart, touch your big toes together. Sink your hips down to your heels and bring your forehead down to the mat. Nice deep breaths here. This is a great relaxing pose whenever you're in seated or on your hands and knees and you need a break, or anytime in practice. Child's pose is a great pose for that. There's nothing to do here but relax. If you feel like you don't have room for your abdomen to breathe, just make your knees a little wider.
with your next inhale, we're gonna push right back up to our hands and knees. Make sure you move the knees in so they're in line with the hips, and we're gonna do thread the needle. So with an inhale, we're gonna lift our left arm up as high as we can, and with an exhale, thread it through the right or behind the right, and bring that left shoulder down to the mat if you can, and left ear. Hips are still nice and high. You can keep the right arm in front of you as mine is. You can bring it back onto your lower back. Whatever's comfortable for you. Nice deep breaths here. With an inhale, we're going to come back out of this and send that left arm way up to the sky. And exhale, bring it down to the mat. And now we'll do the other side. So with an inhale, lift that right arm way up. Exhale, thread it through. Bring that right shoulder down to the mat and right ear. I'm going to turn this way so my back's not to you. Nice deep breaths. Just breathe there. With an inhale, bring that right arm all the way through and up, and exhale, place it down on the mat. And we're going to do one last asana from our knees here. We're going to do a supported side plank. So left hand is in front of face and left knee is in line with that. When you're comfortable, send that right foot back and right arm up to sky. I like to look up at the right hand. Keep the shoulders flat against an imaginary wall. If you're comfortable here and want to work on some strength and balance, maybe lift that right leg. You can also just lift and tap it and kind of do baby steps here. See what works for you. Nice deep breath. And with an exhale, come back down to your hands and knees. And we're going to do the other side. So right hands in front of face. Right knees in line. When you're comfortable, send that left foot back. So you're making sure that you're opening your hips up and chest to, for me, the direction of the camera. And then inhale that left arm up. Looking up at that left arm. Once again, you can lift that left leg. You can always touch and go. Exhale, bring that left hand down, and we're going to be back in hands and knees. We're going to go back to down dog, so we're just going to roll our toes. Before we go all the way back to down dog, though, we're going to hover those knees about 6 inches. Engage your core and hold yourself here. Nice deep breaths. Inhale all the way back to down dog. Look between the hands and walk or step to a forward fold. Micro bend the knees and inhale the arms way up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up and exhale, release the arms. And just take a quick Tadasana. If you need a drink, check in with your body. Warrior 2 sequence today. We're going to do it, we're just going to step back into it. So up nice and tall at the front of your mat. Hands at heart center. And we're going to step the right leg back. And what's really important here is not how far this foot's back, but a few things. One, that foot has to be parallel to the end of the mat. So right now that foot is facing towards the camera. My right toes are facing towards the front of the mat. Put a bend in the left knee. Also, you want to make sure the knee and ankle are stacked over one another. We don't want this knee coming in front of the ankle. Another important thing is if I drew a line from my left heel, it would meet the middle of my right arch. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see how that looks. Because what we don't want is this knee coming in. We're trying to open this hip up. If I look down this inner thigh, I'll see my first two toes at least. If you can't see your toes, it's because that knee's coming in and that can really hurt your knee. So it's really important that that leg is open. If you can't get it open, then move this foot in, the right foot. So once you're there, your weight should be directly over your pelvic floor, your torso. And then we're going to engage our arms. The arms want to be straight out. Once again, shoulders pushed up against an imaginary wall. There's a bend in that left knee. Fingers are strong. You can always check in with the back arm that you're level. Engage your triceps. The arms are strong here. If somebody pushes them, they won't just fall down by my side. They're strong, engaged. Looking over the left middle and ring finger. Now we're going to go back to reverse warrior. This is warrior 2 here. Reverse warrior with an inhale. Flip your left palm and bring your left palm overhead and your right arm down your right leg. We're elongating that left side. Make sure you still have that bend in the left knee. Nice deep breaths. With an exhale, come back to warrior 2. Strong arms. You can place your hands on your hips and turn your toes, left toes, so they're facing the same way as the right. Now we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold, but we're going to stop at halfway lift. So inhale up nice and tall, and with an exhale, fold forward to a halfway lift. Nice flat back, pulling those shoulder blades back. Inhale, using your core, come back up to center. And this time when we do it, we're going to go all the way down. So big inhale up tall. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe bring the hands down to the mat. And once again, don't think of forcing if you feel tightness in your lower back, hamstrings, or inner thighs. Don't think of forcing them to do what you want them to do. Think of relaxing them to allow them to do what we want them to do, or what we need them to do. I know it might be a different concept of thinking of just relaxing a muscle to let it do what it wants, or what we need it to do. But it does work, and your breath can help with that. As you exhale, think of relaxing and letting go and moving further into position. And maybe when you inhale, you can come up just a little, and exhale, release further into that fold. Walk your feet in just a little bit. Put a micro bend in your knees and place your hands on your hips. And with an inhale, come all the way up to standing and just step to the front of your mat. And we're going to do the other side, so hands at heart center, up nice and tall. When you're ready, just step this left foot back. And before we go any further, we'll make sure this foot position, because this is so important to this asana and many asanas. Left foot is parallel to the end of the mat. heel arch alignment. So if I drew a line from this right heel, it would meet the middle of that left arch. And if I look down the inner thigh on the right leg, I see my toes. So that way, we're nice and lined up. And then engage your arms. And once again, check in with those back arms. Shoulders are pushed up against an imaginary wall. And breathe. And if you can't get this leg open, just move the back leg in a little. How far that leg is back is not key to doing this properly. Strong arms, fingers are engaged, looking over that right middle and ring finger. We're going to go back to reverse warrior. So with an inhale, flip that right palm and come back overhead. Left arm goes down, left leg. Make sure you still have the bend in that right knee. Nice deep breaths. And with an exhale, come back to warrior two. And if I'm doing this right, you shouldn't see this back arm. I'm waving it now so you can see it, but it should be like I am pushed up against an imaginary wall. When you're ready, you can bring your hands to your hips and turn your toes, right toes so they're facing the same way as the left. Up nice and tall, hands on hips, and with an exhale, forward fold all the way down. I'm going to turn sideways. If you can get your hands down to the ground, great. If not, just let them stay where they are. If you feel like you can move your legs out further, feel free to do that. You might feel that change to the inner thigh. Just trying to bring the crown of the head towards the ground. Now maybe we're going to walk our hands over towards our right foot. Feel how that feels different. If you feel tightness, think of relaxing it. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, walk your hands over towards your left foot. Inhale back to center. Walk your feet in just a little bit. Put a micro bend in the knees. Place your hands on your hips. And inhale, come all the way up to standing. And take a quick Tadasana. Up nice and tall. Nice deep breaths. You can blink your eyes open. And for balance today, we're going to do tree pose. So we want to put all of our weight into our left foot and put a micro bend in that left knee. Hands at heart center. Remember, with balance, you want to find a focus point. Something that's not moving you can focus on. Slowly take the weight off of the right foot and maybe kickstand that right heel against the left ankle. And what's important here is that this right knee is open to the side. It's not up in the front. It's as open as it can be. Nice deep breaths here. You can tap the toes if you like, or put that right foot on the left calf or thigh. Focus on balance. If you step out of it, it's fine. You can grow your tree branches. Make sure you're engaging your core, your belly. You don't want it to wiggle if you move a little. So just firm it up a little bit, continue to breathe deep, and also apply pressure with this right foot into the left leg. It'll help stabilize you. And let the branches blow in the wind if you like. Nice deep breaths. take that left leg out, one thing I'll recommend, if you step out of it and you kind of fall out of it, come back into it just real quick, just to step out of it under control, just to get your body used to, when we leave this, we're going to leave when we're ready to leave, and put that foot down under control. So we'll do the other side. Weights transferring into the right foot. Find your focus point. Kickstand that left heel against right ankle. Make sure that left knee's open to the side. Up nice and tall. Place that left foot on the right calf or thigh, just not the knee. Engage the core. Apply pressure with that left foot into the right leg. And when you're ready, grow your branches. Nice deep breaths. And if you step out of it, just come right back to it. And when you're ready, bring the hands to heart center and step out under control. And shake out that right leg. And just check in with your body, up nice and tall for a Tadasana, real quick one. Open. We're going to come to a seated position, so we'll get there through squat. If you just want to come to seated, you can. If you have bad knees and don't want to do a squat, that's fine. If you do want to do a squat, have your feet about mat width apart and your toes going out just a little. When we start to squat down, as soon as your heels come off the mat, that's when you want to stop. So inhale up nice and tall, and with an exhale, just lower down. Your weight's going to transfer to your heels. Nice deep breath here. If you're all the way down, maybe put your elbows inside your knees. When you're ready, you can place the hands down on the mat and come to a comfortable seated position. However you're seated, unless you intentionally did it, cross the position you're in. A lot of times we always want to sit one way, and it's good to work on training our bodies to sit the other way also. I generally want to put the right leg in the front, so I intentionally put the left in front. So we're going to be up nice and tall. Inhale the arms way up overhead. And we're going to do a seated twist here. So with an exhale, put the left hand on right knee and right hand behind back. The spine is nice and straight. And with an exhale, we're twisting from the rib cage. We're not having our shoulders crank our body around. We're twisting from this middle rib cage. No pressure on the neck. We're going to do a little bit with the seated twist today to kind of loosen our backs up, move those vertebrae. So remember how this feels. And with an inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Exhale, we'll do the other side. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind back. The spine is straight, twisting from the ribs. Nice deep breaths. Inhale, both arms up overhead. And with an exhale, forward fold. And once again, we're not trying to bring our head towards the ground, we're bringing our chest towards the ground. And wherever that chest stops, let the head stop there. We don't want to pull that head towards the ground and strain our neck. For me, I feel it in my lower back. This is where I stop. Just breathe and think about relaxing the lower back. And with each exhale, maybe it'll relax a little more. Nice deep breaths.
overhead. We're going to turn and face our right knee. Exhale, forward fold to the right. And right here, make sure your left glute stays on the mat. The spine is straight and we're reaching our chest towards that knee. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Turn and face the left knee. And exhale, forward fold towards that left knee. Keeping the right glute on the mat. Inhale, back up overhead. Exhale, forward fold again. Feel if this one's a little looser than the first. Inhale, both arms up overhead. And exhale, release your arms down by your sides. And we're just going to do some, place the hands on the knees. Make some big circles with the whole torso. You can change directions. You can come to stillness, nice straight spine. Inhale the arms up overhead and interlock your fingers, but keep the, I call it the Charlie's Angels fingers, keep the pointer finger up and the thumb finger back. And try to attach your arms to your head. So without moving the arms, we're just going to move the body. The vertebrae right under the shoulder blades. So my lower back isn't moving, it's just the upper back. And change directions. Just make little circles, moving those vertebrae. And come to stillness and exhale, release the arms. And we're going to do one more seated twist, but before we do, change the way your legs are crossed. Up nice and tall. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, left hand, right knee, right hand behind back. And twisting from the ribs. Just breathe here for a little bit. Feel the difference between this one and the first one. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, right hand, left knee, left hand behind back. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, both arms up overhead. And exhale, release the arms. And we're going to come to a laying position. Nice and flat on the mat. And just start to unwind from practice with an inhale. Pull your knees to chest and gently rock side to side. And I like to end class with inversions where the feet are up nice and high. It's great for circulation. So you can come to stillness, and we're going to do a happy baby. So if you reach between your legs and grab your feet and send the soles of your feet up to the sky, keeping that lower back on the mat. If you can't reach your feet, you can also just grab your ankles or calves. The important thing is that the soles of the feet are up to the sky. Your knees are bent, pulling them back towards the ground. And just keeping that lower spine in contact with your mat. If you rock, it's good to massage the lower spine. You can come to stillness. And when we release the legs, we're going to send the feet straight up to the sky. If you have a hard time with that, you can use your hands to assist. Just keep the head flat on the mat and your shoulders. And with an exhale, bend the knees, and we'll get ready for Shavasana. Extend the legs out along your mat. Let your feet be about mat width apart and your toes going to the outside. Your hands down by your sides, either palms up or palms down, but about 12 to 18 inches off of your hips. And we'll be here for a little bit in Shavasana. Nice deep breaths. You can close your eyes. And slowly start to check in with your body. There's no movement here. It's all about resetting, relaxing, and being present. So relax all the tension in your face. Take your tongue off the roof of your mouth and maybe put a slight space between your lips. Relax any tension in your shoulders and arms. And completely let go of any tension or tightness in your hands. With your next exhale, let your back just melt into the mat. Let go of any tightness in your hips. And relax any tension in your thighs and calves. Let go of any tightness in your ankles and feet. And for the remainder of practice, just focus on your breath. Inhaling and exhaling deeply and completely. If thoughts come to your mind, let them float away with the exhale and come back to your breath. Slowly bring awareness back to your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes or roll your wrists and ankles. When you're ready with your eyes closed, roll onto your left or right side. Shavasana is corpse pose. It's symbolic of leaving behind what we'd like to leave behind in practice, starting our day and life from this point forward. And when you're ready with your eyes closed, push yourself up into a comfortable seated position with Anjali Mudra hands or prayer hands, a light bow to your head and your eyes closed. Yoga is about so much more than what we've done here today. It's about learning to love yourself and accept yourself. It's about being compassionate and empathetic. It's about treating people fairly and kindly. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be part of your practice today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for being here, everybody. If you watched the video, please just give us some feedback. Let us know you were here. If there's anything you have difficulties with or you aren't sure about, please make sure you let us know and we can explain it to you or try to give some clarity or maybe some modifications. And it really is a practice. That's what we call it, but it is a practice. It's not perfection. So if you struggle with some things or they're not super easy for you, just stick with it. Don't get discouraged. We were all there at one point, and just take it one day at a time. Listen to your body. It is a very long journey. There's people that practice yoga for 60, 70 years. So just be where you are and be appreciative of it, but also remember to accept and love yourself for who you are. And yoga is a great tool to help us do that. So have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of your weekend. And namaste.